Welcome back to the Bioshock Infinite playthrough. I'm actually showing a loading screen this time.
Yay! Loading screen! And now it is suddenly daytime.
No, it's daytime this whole time. It's probably just a little later in the evening. From the look of it.
That's odd. While you were in the Hall of Heroes, it was almost certainly nighttime.
Oh yeah, that's true, isn't it? It was nighttime. I forgot, we saw open sky. I've never noticed that before.
Well, I take it that you actually reloaded the game, hence the early loading screen.
Probably. Yeah.
So yeah, the day-night cycle, because the game actually probably has a day-night cycle when it resets.
No, this game does not have a day-night cycle, because then there would be opportunities for me to actually go to the Hall of Heroes in broad daylight in the one outdoor section where you fight the barrage of mooks. I guess we spent all night going through the Hall of Heroes, kind of like a fucking Resident Evil game. It never occurred to me that fucking that much time passed, or maybe they were just too lazy to animate to animate a night sky for this section of the game.
Or maybe in the DLC we figure out what happens during the lost hours.
The DLC for this game, I don't think it actually expands Columbia. It seems to expand Rapture, as I understand it. The Lost at Sea DLC for Bioshock Infinite, it actually recasts Booker and Elizabeth as different characters. So they meet up in Rapture. Elizabeth assigns some kind of mission to Booker, which is not what happens here. And, well, I've never played it myself, but I hear that it's marvelous to play through.
Is it like a marvelous Marvel vs. Capcom 3
it's
would
like
be?
It's like a marvelous DC Batman type Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk. Yes.
Huh. Alright, so now that we have Shock Jockey, we need to go and find the generators, right?
Yes. This is all recycled environments from before, except this part, because they won't let you go back the other way. You actually have to go through this gauntlet of loops in order to get to the skyline that takes you back to the generator you were originally supposed to go to. Detours. Like, I mean, I understand that it's efficient for game designs just to reuse environments, because obviously going through an environment in one direction does not look the same as going through the environment in the other direction.
Salt's here!
They're all gone.
And he hath exploded.
He hath exploded into millions of tiny bits, and the bits flew down to the Sodom below, and his soul departed into heaven to meet our Maker.
And he did know the name of the king.
That's... Oh my god, you haven't said that in the longest time.
At least to you.
I forgot that was even a thing. More recycled environments, yay!
So the fireman, I know he's got Devil's Kiss, but he also happens to have that explosion maneuver. Is the explosion maneuver another part of Devil's Kiss?
It is, actually. The reason why you never see it when I use it is because I actually make contact with the enemies with the Devil's Kiss. If you miss the Devil's Kiss, it doesn't disappear. It doesn't fizzle when it hits the ground. It actually bounces exactly the same way the fireman's fireballs. They bounce off the ground and then explode a short time after they land.
This seems like a really nice way to save ammo.
It is a really nice way to save ammo, because it's basically a kill. you're turning these mooks into 1/7 of your salts, or at least as it is right now. If I remember correctly, I think I do max out my salts by the time we get to the end of the game. It also makes pilfering money from vending machines that much more convenient.
More money. Take this.
More money, more
More
money,
money, more business, more money, more problems. I don't know that. I've heard more money, more problems.
Salesman of snake oil.
Yes. Back in the day, snake oil used to be sold as a healing tonic.
Yes. And then it was discovered that no, snake oil does no such things. What are you people talking about?
Snake oil was said to cure my rheumatoid arthritis. It made it worse. That is, if he's still alive to talk about it, because honestly, if you just fucking mix snake oil and maybe tequila or whatever you got lying around, you might end up killing your customers, but that's okay. The money's in your pocket, right?
Right, said the evil businessman behind the counter.
The evil, corrupt, corporate businessman behind the counter.
Oh, come on. We already made them evil. Why do we have to make them corrupt,
Because
too?
he's in the industry of selling snake oil, and when there's an industry, there are stakeholders, and when there are stakeholders, there's corporate obligations to them.
I think you were supposed to say stockholders. But
Stakeholders, stockholders, they're the same thing.
yes,
Except
they are.
stakeholders is just a little more generalized. It can refer also to customers, people in the community around the business, employees, etc., etc.
I have just now noticed that your crosshair is this small, very obvious circle thing in the center of your screen.
At
At
least for the machine gun. Yeah, I was about to say. I'm not sure exactly why they do that. I think it's because firing from the hip with the machine gun is not terribly accurate, so they didn't want to give you like a good sense of where you were shooting. 'Cause most of the time, at least when I use the machine gun, I'm aiming down the sight, so I know exactly where I'm about to shoot. Yes, Elizabeth, I know that the gears are the weak spot. This is like the third or fourth fucking time I fucked this guy.
Although you still end up using way too much shock jockey.
Oh, I'm using just the right amount of shock jockey. These guys are a bitch.
Eyes open for more.
It's even worse.
Would they be less of a bitch if you actually had explosives?
No, it would be even more. Because if I was using explosives, I couldn't actually get close to them. Patriots are actually more dangerous from a distance because of the crank gun. And also because it is my strategy. There are other ways you can dispatch the Patriots without having to get up close and personal. I mean, you could be using like rocket launchers, like you said, explosives, maybe the upgraded version of Devil's Kiss, because you can buy upgrades that increase the firepower.
Doors. When I was younger, I didn't just open the ones I found.
Oh yeah, this is the first part where we actually have subtitles.
Yes.
What?
You shock jockeyed the vending machine, dude.
Yeah, that was my
How
mistake.
do you do that? Whatever it is.
Tried to figure it out.
You hear that, kids? If you read lots of books
Yeah.
and you become
What did
really,
that
really
teach you?
smart, you too can bend reality to your will.
What is?
So, if I were to read enough Animorphs, I would eventually be able to morph into an animal?
Hopefully, I mean, it's kind of like if you read Goosebumps, then you turn into some kind of furry monster, or worse, that furry monster is right behind you!
Yeah, but usually the monsters in Goosebumps were not actually, the monsters. It was usually the people that were the monsters.
Interesting. Well, I know that from the very few Goosebumps books that I've read, I did read. Oh God, what was it called? It was the one where this guy bought a carton of eggs, but the eggs contained some kind of like creature that was not an egg, and eventually this creature became a conglomerate of all the eggs in the carton, and the creature was... I mean, the kid who found it obviously thought that the creature was some kind of threat, but they come to find out that the creature is actually, benign, not ready to hurt him or, harm him in any way. It's actually prepared to help him.
And here we have a hidden generator room that has salts in it, and this is where we find out that this rather nice looking estate has got a bunch of murdered people in it.
It's not a bunch, it's only a couple. Oh god, I think that guy actually had a bullet wound on the back of his head. I wonder who did this. My god, whose hat is this? Oh my god, I just realized the gear that I'm getting is a new hat. There's a hat. It's right there.
Oh, Preston is a sporting man, Miss Fitzroy. I won't steal up on you while you slumber like these Vox boys here, with their pink stickers. That's one scalp to me. That's two. Now when you hear this, I want you to square your affairs and come die in the side of the poets. You'll need a white man's weapon. Give this a try.
Preston, you are a racist pig.
Well, what else is new? We're actively killing and dispatching racist pigs all over the place.
Yeah, but Preston is one of the few guys in the game with dialogue that verifies that he is in fact a racist pig.
Including Comstock, of course.
Yes, but we don't actually get to see Comstock on screen. Then again, we don't get to see Preston that much either.
That generator does absolutely nothing, by the way. I thought that maybe it would lift the door or do something, like, sort of significant.
It should lift the door. It's directly connected to it.
It doesn't lift the door. It's just, why? Did they, either that's a game glitch, or they sincerely forgot to make something happen when you actually do that, because otherwise the only reason why anybody would come back here is to get the safe, one of the safes in the office on the side, that maybe you didn't have enough lockpicks for before, but yep, I still have to lift the gate.
Maybe this generator actually has got a connection on the outside. Doesn't look like it though, because there's no cords coming out from under the door. So,
I like Preston. I like Preston's character rather. His voice is distinct enough where you always know who it is and the face. And I think he's funny. I think he's a comic relief character. If that makes any sense.
I don't know if he's a comic relief character because he's still most certainly a minor villain. The thing is, he's got that whole English cowboy thing going on.
English cowboy.
Yes, one, his name is Preston, which is incredibly English preppy, and two, he's got that whole the whole southwestern mannerism to him that makes him sound like what we would stereotype as a cowboy.
Well, right, he's a cowboy stereotype. He's got, he's not faking with that accent, man. I think it's exaggerated probably because he's also, in addition to being a bounty hunter, I think he also does some kind of road show. Except now he's in the sky, so it's a sky show.
Men wear many hats in this generation.
They do, and these hats grant magical abilities.
So what does Preston's hat give us?
Preston's hat gives us a look into the dark side of, like, late 1800s, early 1900s Western Americana, where there was still rampant racism, not just here, also back on the ground. This whole game is supposed to be social commentary for the times.
And now we notice that Cloud is meandering about in the amusement
Well,
park.
I'm done meandering now. In the next part, I will activate the generator that's gonna finally get us the fuck forward.